First of all, can you tell us your name and a little bit about yourself?
My name's Austin Sam. I was born in this area, which is at Burntwater, Arizona, which is close to Sanders in the Houck chapter area, just not too far from I-40, southern part of the Navajo Nation. The Navajo Nation covers over 27,000 square mile, and there's I feel that this is the best place to go, come back to, as I've been absent from the Navajo Nation for years, over 40 years. I did educate myself after I got out of the military service, and decided to come back and try to.
What was it like growing up here on the Navajo Reservation as a child? What are your memories?
Okay, a lot of things that I remember, a lot of things that I did when I was growing up with my mom. My parents tried to put me in a local school, which I hated school. For years, I tried to stay away from school for some reason, and I always wanted to be, and my parents' little boy. That's who I was for years at a time, until I was placed with my older sister to Chilocco, Oklahoma Indian School. At the time when they were educating Navajos for 5 years, 2 years basic English and 2 years of sometime I ate trade, and that's what I got into. And
how old were you when you went to school in Oklahoma?
I was about at least 15 years old when I started my school with the other Indian tribe from Alaska all the way down from Florida, and a mixed tribe. I graduated with about at least 36 different tribes at this particular school that covered, it was about at least over 1,000 students at that particular place. And majority of the tribe was Navajos, and the smaller group of different tribes from all over the country.
So it was a BIA boarding school?
It was a Bureau of Indian Affairs boarding school, which is at the time, that was one of the ways that they tried to get the Indians or the Navajos away from the reservation so they can support themselves living off the reservation. And that was one of the ways that they did try it.
So it wasn't a very pleasant experience?
When I was with the Navajo students, it was very hard. We talk about our own traditional ideas from here over in school, but I tried to be friends with the other tribes so I can speak English a little bit better, and I just started hanging around with the other tribes, and they gave me a lot of education with my language that I wrote or written or either I spoke.
Now let's go back just for a minute to before you went to school in Oklahoma. I'd like to hear a little bit more about your parents and like the conditions of your home. Like, did you have electricity or running water or anything like that? Or what sort of home did you live in? And what were your parents like?
When I was, if I do remember, we used to live in Hogan, which is a dirt floor. The Hogan was made out of logs, and when it rains, either we have to get away from the raindrops through the ceiling or through the walls, and it was very hard to get back to sleep at night, especially when the rain comes. And it was very hard to living, and we didn't have no way of supporting the family. Hadn't had no real support, except my mom and my grandma was weaving Navajo rugs all the time, and that was the food that for us. And my father came in once every 2 weeks. He worked for the Santa Fe Railroad, but I never really saw my father in the area. And if he did, he was only home for about at least a a day and a half, and the rest of the other time, us kids and my mom, grandma, and was at the Hogan.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 3 older brothers. One died. My youngest one, he was with me for a point where I cannot stand him anymore. So I had to get away from him to go on to Chilocco. Why? I just don't know why. He was my full-blooded brother. And my sister, I had 2 sisters from my mom's side, and that was the oldest one was really more of a guidance to my life. The younger one, I never really saw that little. She died when she was a baby, and so I just don't have no idea of how she would have been. And we live in Hogan, yes, at the time.
So are your memories of growing up in that Hogan, in those conditions, are they, do you have a lot of good memories, or was it just hard?
I wouldn't say it's hard, because there's no way that I could able to compare the living from the past or the before. So the living the way I live, there was not really any hard way. There was no bathroom. There's no fire. There was no heater. The only heater we had was a fireplace in the middle of the Hogan for the winter, and we didn't have the doors, and we had a blanket that you use for a door. And other than that, all the other things, the belongings, are all in the Hogan, and that's the way we live. And I just didn't miss any, or either hard. Maybe it was a hard life, but I didn't realize it was that hard until later years when I was away from the Navajo Nation.
Let's talk a little bit now about your education once you left the boarding school in Oklahoma.
The education that I did have through the boarding school at Chilocco was very much an educational part, because I was with other tribes. The other tribe have gave me a new ideas to go on to a different higher education, which is a trade school at the University of Oklahoma in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. And I was into electronics and other trades training. And when I got away from those areas there, the Vietnam was very much a war that I hear and see in the newspaper and on TV, and many of my friends that were going to school at Mogi, at University of Oklahoma branch, they were being drafted.
So you attended the University of Oklahoma?
Mogi, Oklahoma, yes.
And what did you study there?
I first started with electronics, which is repairing radios and TVs. Then my grade went low. Then I changed over into the auto parts department, which is I graduated from that particular area. I spent 2 years over there, and as soon as I got out and graduated, I came back, and I was still missing the activities that I could have been with in school and college. So I just didn't want to be on the reservation, so I just left. I volunteered for a draft, and I got drafted, and I went into the regular United States Army, and I had a high grade into electronics, and got into Nike Hercules guided missiles training for. They have different type of radars that they use, and I went for the radars, and
what year was that when you went in the military?
that was from 1965, about 65 and on to 11 years, a little over, that I spent my time in. And I was stationed in Gary, Indiana, Los Angeles, and other big cities that the air defense they have for underground. In Chicago, there's several of them underground, which nobody knew about it. But we're the only one that says things like we're hidden away except for the radars. But there's more missiles, nothing out there.
You were also in Alaska?
I was in Alaska for that particular time. The time that I was in, I was asked to go to Germany, but I was already handicapped. My back was not really in a good healthy position for Los Angeles big fires that they have every so many years, and brush fires and that kind of stuff. And I got injured from that particular time, and so I cannot go to Germany to serve my country. But I did went to Alaska, and I was stationed in the Anchorage area for 6 years, and I very much was interested on the weekend for the fishing and wildlife.
Now, what did you do after you got out of the military?
Before I got home, driving home from Alabama, which is my last station, was at the Marshall Space Center, and I got out and heading home. I put myself on to permission to enroll into University of New Mexico. I was accepted to go there, and a year later I was enrolled and start going to school. And there's a few of my colleagues, which is veterans, that were going to school, so it kind of gave me a closeness with the veterans, even though it's a college surrounding.
And what did you study at the University
of Mexico? I got into geology for years, and finally went into anthropology and archaeology for a short time, and I got some credits in those areas, and got graduated from there with a university college degree in 1996.
Now, tell us a little about some of the activism that you were involved with. I know in particular the 90s, environmental issues and so forth, and other activities like that.
I was very much active in environmental, which is I started with the area for the Navajo Nation, and there was they were planning on getting all the trash from Chicago area onto this particular area, west or northwest of Winslow, Arizona, which is on the Navajo Nation, and there was to dump all the trash in there. And so I was active not to get all the trash from Chicago to here, and pretty soon I was into water rights, the spill of the Church Rock spill radiation, and pretty soon I was recognized to do other activities in the country, which is the United States.
You were also involved in saving an Indian junior college. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
During the Reagan administration, the president of the United States was trying to close some of the federal government operated institution, and there's a small school in Albuquerque, New Mexico, that they were trying to close, and some of us from the University of New Mexico tried to help the school to have it continue, not to close the school. And that's what we did. Is we'd make a run from the front of the school to Window Rock. Different tribe has signed a petition. The president and the governors of the Pueblos have signed those documents for us as supporting resolutions. Same way going north to Taos, Mexico, and that's the one that really did change the idea that the school should be there. And now it's it's a year-round school that they have. It used to be only in the fall and in the spring, but they used to close during the summer. Now it's a year-round, which is I'm very happy we did that.
Now, you have been making a personal journal for many years, and if you could tell us a little bit about that, and also you knew very well the writer Tony Hillerman.
Yes.
And if you could tell us about that.
Being a person that's going to school with other nationality, I always try to listen to other students. And for me, as alone, when I was in Chilocco, I kept a lot of my grades, a lot of my information that I put together on a piece of paper, my notebooks that I had during the days of my life, my younger days. I put those back together, and it seems like when I read those little paragraphs that I put together, I do remember a lot of things that I even do remember what day. It seems like it was rain or cloudy, or the wet weather outside, or the coldness during the winter. I can almost feel those, and that's what I put on into my journal. When I was in the military service, I did the same thing. Is that I have short notes, and going back into those notes, I do remember a lot of things, even to PMs or AMs in the mornings or afternoons. And there was things that I did. I kind of gave exposure to one of my old friends, Dusty McCrea. She was extras at the University of either at one of the studios in Los Angeles area with the movies.
You mentioned Dusty McCrea. She was an actress in different in movies.
Yes.
Right.
Dusty McCrea was a lady that I can able to listen to of what I was doing with my journal, and so I showed it to her, and it's based on the information she gave me. It gave me a lot of important things of what I can do with it, but I never did listen to her, and on and on and on. But I just kept my journal of what was going on in my surrounding as I traveled, as I sat at the international airport waiting for any flights going out during my military days. And she was very much an inspiration for me from that particular point of her view is as a movie actress. And she had a break in the Burntwater, and she got some money as an actress on that in that movie back in the 80s. I think it was 84 or 86 around that time. And she started inviting me to her ranch in New Mexico. And I used to travel down to her area, and it was nice to be asked to go to a movie star ranch. And I felt very much important to me. I was continuously doing my writing, and then came along Tony Hillerman, and Tony Hillerman I've been putting my journal together and put into hardback books that I start doing, and I couldn't able to publish it because this is my second language. My English is a second language. I cannot do anything to it. And Tony Hillerman says, hey, you have to put it in a safe place where nobody would either take it or destroy it. And Tony Hillerman was very much a known person for being a publisher, and some of his books were made into movies. And I do miss Tony Hillerman a lot when he passed on not too long ago. The same way with Dusty McCrea. She passed on several years ago also, and those are my famous part of the journals that I kept. My journal was much impressed by Dusty McCrea and Tony Hillerman. And Tony Hillerman is very much a person that I will able to listen to, and many other people that I have seen my books, my journals. And so I feel that somebody has to come and take it away from me, or either can read it and edit it and able to publish it, or either it'd be nice if I get somebody to do it, but I want one of a person that has been in the military service, that they can able to do it. A lot of my writing is from the view of a military veteran, and if I just give it to any person that don't have no military experience, they would have a lot of change in the books and in my writing. So I like to keep it as a military stories, and also the life of Houck and Sam in the military service, and education was the most important thing that I had for my life. And there's only four things that I wanted in my life when I was growing. I want to have kids. I want to have a piece of land. I want to educate myself. I want to be a military man, and that's what I did. And
we overlooked asking. Tell us about your kids. Actually, we didn't cover that.
I do have lovely two daughters, and they're all grown up right now. And I have two grandsons, two granddaughters, and two great grandsons, and they all live in Salt Lake City. And I do have a problem with my health, and I go to VA hospital every week, and sometimes I do travel to Albuquerque, at least 2.5 hours, 3 hours from here. And so that's the main point that I have. But I don't tell my daughters that I have these kind of problems. Let them be, let them work and make their own living, and I can be able to have somebody to take care of me down here. And I never tell them that I do have a lot of problems.
Also, lean forward so we can read what your cap says. I know we just lean forward so we can read what it says on your cap. It says, Veterans Made America #1. Okay. Now let's continue. You've got some books there that you want to show.
Okay.
And talk about.
This one right here.
Hold that up. Right, there we go.
This is Ben from Austria that I met him back in '86 in December, and he was on a bicycle from Alaska all the way through Canada into the United States. And he stopped at where I had my little store at the state line, Arizona, New Mexico line on I-40, and he traveled this many areas on a bicycle throughout the time that he left from Salzburg, Austria. And he told me, I'm doing this to be my high school graduation. And he says that my student I graduated with, he laughed about my trip because I'm only doing for myself to have my graduation. And he spent 3 years traveling on a bicycle through many countries and throughout the South America, New Zealand, Australia, into Hong Kong and India and China, and went back into Russia and bicycled back to his house in Salzburg, Austria area.
He spent time with you here? He visited you?
After he has been riding his bicycle for years, and after he have met many thousands of people where he stayed, but he chose me if he can able to write his book here, and I just very much appreciative if he did come back, and he did come back, and he wrote at least for 4 months he was here. He was still going for his bicycle riding.
What other books do you have there?
Then there's this is one of the first of the Tony Hillerman's Dark Wind, a book that's based on the Burntwater trading post, which is he moved the Burntwater trading post from this area to north of Hopi Reservation, which is maybe about at least 100 miles from here. Actually, every time I went to see him, I would address myself as, I just came back from Burntwater. I just did this over Burntwater. But I guess the idea is why Burntwater all the time? And he heard, I guess, about Burntwater a lot of times, so he just put his story with Burntwater trading post.
And he actually would visit here, this area in the reservation frequently?
He did came over one time when he was writing the book Talking God, and he says, hey, I wanted to finish this book. If you have any way that I can get with you to a Yebiche dance this year, it would be nice to have this book finished.
As I was driving in here, I noticed the road leading into your place, and there's a major construction project going on there, and that you have been very involved in making that happen. Could you tell us that history?
That's a good question that I would like to say a few things about. For many years I have heard from elected officials from Navajo tribe that they was going to put a blacktop through this area up to the school. There's a school up here about at least 7 miles up the road north of here that they really need a good system for the school buses and for the school bus from Sanders. And every year there's going to be a mishap on the road, an accident, or either the bus will go down on the side of the road. It's pretty much, it gets pretty darn muddy. And for the years that I've been here, and I've been hearing the elected officials, they've been trying, but I guess the system, they don't know how to get themselves involved. There's many other things that they were involved with. That was one of the other major problems that we had for years when I was young. So after I retired, after I don't have nothing else to do, I so being a disabled veteran, I decided to go ahead and challenge to resolution to the chapters. There are 5 major chapters that uses this school up here, Pine School Boarding School. And so I went to these chapters for the resolutions, and also the companies that support with the supplies and food and other things that they take up there. And I even got the churches and all the other denomination to got involved with them to get the supporting resolutions. And even the little kids up there, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, 2nd and 3rd grade, they went and did some writing, and short ones, half a page, and able to get themselves on a piece of paper, and that was the power.
How many years have you been working on this issue?
Since 2001, I've been working on it. 2001 on, I had all the resolutions, all the minutes from local chapters, and finally I met our former Congressman Rick Ramsey for the state of Arizona, and he's the one that gave us at least $3 million. That was more of a starting point for the road, and pretty soon we hit up to $22,600 and some $1 million, and that's a lot of money for 13 miles. And then besides that, the into which is a utility line that goes through here, and they put their own line addition to that particular line. It used to be only 2-line power line. Now it's a 4-line line, which is I would say that this project went over $40 million, and I'm just darn happy it happened. And I don't know who would have done this, and maybe another person that this from the reservation would organize this type of organization to get this thing going like this. I don't think so. But if you do, if you have some kind of education, I know that you can able to foresee this kind of a goal to put yourself into. And that was the goal that I got into. When I was young, I got myself not liking the school that I went to, but later on I did enjoy it until I graduated from high school and on to college. I saw many other nationality aiming for the same type of education they want, and I was part of it. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to see the world by not putting any expense into it. So I joined the military service. I saw other countries. I saw how they live. I come back and saw how I live here. And based on what I experienced out there, I put this road together and got the road going for the people. That's not for me. It's for the school. It's not for me. It's all for all students.
Well, thank you very much, Austin Sam, for taking time with us on this August 11th, 2012, to share your experiences. Is there anything you'd like to add that we haven't covered to conclude?
Yes, I'd like to just say a few words. My books that I did have here at the house and at the University of New Mexico, yes, I'd like to have somebody to look through it and able to have them see if they can able to put it together as a book. And I know it's going to be interesting.
Your journals.
And my journal is, and I put myself into from when I was young. I used to sit on high hills taking care of the sheep and able to learn how to chip arrowheads. And I got into nuclear weapons when I was into military service. The military even volunteered me to get into nuclear weapons, and that's why I was at the University Marshall Space Center. They taught that type of training, and I never got to be part of that particular person because my health. And the last group that I was with, I said goodbye to them, and I never went back to see how they flew out. That was the end of the sad stories. The airplane that they were on from Huntsville, Alabama to Atlanta, Georgia, disappeared from the radar. And I was lucky. I didn't finish with them. Otherwise, I would have been part of the people that disappeared.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Anything else that you wanted to add?
My kids, I want to have them to be like me, get a lot of education. My grandkids, and it's going to be a feeling that I did something as grassroots, and I know that they would be able to go on to college based on grandma and grandfathers. My ex-wife went to University of Utah and graduated from there. I graduated from University of New Mexico, and I translated from University of Arizona, and got I trained from University of Oklahoma and other places that I went. And I'm always a traditional Navajo. I believe in all belief, which is Christianity, and also my way of living. Prayers to my spiritual beings, and that's who I am.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.